I do like to go hiking, especially when I'm out in Sedona or start visiting some of the national parks. So I want to do some reviews of the dry freeze food just to see how it tastes. Like I said, it's probably not the healthiest for you.
Created live on Fireside.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Athletic Definition. I'm your host, Coach Ray Z, and today I'm going to be reviewing Mountain House Freeze Dry Mint Chocolate Chip Ice Cream. I did a review for this dry ice cream because I like to go hiking, and sometimes when it's really hot, I'm in California, and right now I think we're in a heat wave. It's like 90 something degrees. Sometimes you have a little sweet tooth, so this is not really healthy. It is 140 calories, 12 grams of sugar. It's got 6% total fat, and sodium is 95 milligrams, so that's 4%. I found this at Walmart. It's about $4. It's $3.97. I was looking at some of the reviews. It was about maybe a 2.7 roughly. And the negative review that I read is that it came broken in pieces. So I do recommend, if you want to buy one of these, is to buy it at the store, because if you order it online, it will probably become broken. Even when you go to the store, you can feel that they're kind of broken. They don't really stay very well together. So this is the chocolate chip. And if you click on the fortune cookie, you will see probably my YouTube. This is my YouTube video that I did about a year ago on the vanilla one. That is the one that I actually did color grading on the video. I was getting really good at this program called DaVinci Code. Had an issue. Since then, I've been using iMovie. I think that's one of my better edited videos. And I climbed a mountain to go do it. It's in the San Gabriel Canyon, so I went all the way up Glendora Mountain Trail. Once went to the top, there's a helicopter landing spot, and in that helicopter landing spot, it's really just to help put out the fires. And on top of there, that's where I filmed it. So be sure to check that out. You will see that on the link. And if not, you can go to Coach Ray Z YouTube and look for the ice cream review. That's when I did vanilla. I got this idea because I saw that they also have like scrambled eggs and all this other food for hiking. I'm more of a trail runner. The big differences I've seen is hikers that go out for a long time, they carry really, really heavy backpacks versus an ultra runner or just trail runners. They usually trying to go minimal. So it's maybe a hydration bag and food that won't take up a lot of space. Being out in a run, even though I'm out for so many hours, I wouldn't be able to have a whole meal. But I do like to go hiking, especially when I'm out in Sedona or start visiting some of the national parks. So I want to do some reviews of the dry freeze food just to see how it tastes. Like I said, it's probably not the healthiest for you. And since this is $4 over here in LA, we have a ice cream store called Michoacana. It's roughly maybe about 350, maybe from $3 to $4. Very good though. So many different flavors. So I definitely would rather have a natural ice cream than this one. We'll see how that goes, because I do remember them being kind of crunchy, and I know doing it live will be way different. You will get to see more version. As far as when I edit it, you'll just probably see it completely different. So you can check out the edited version on my YouTube channel or on Spotify. So let me try this one out here. And I brought a plate because I just remember them being falling apart very easily. So this is the mint chocolate chip by Mountain House, and this video is not sponsored. Now, I'm going to have to definitely edit a lot of this part out, because I'm sure it doesn't really make for good podcast listening. But for those of you watching, it's like the vanilla, as far as it's not bad for dry freeze. It's pretty good. I think I like the vanilla better. This one, it doesn't have the overwhelming taste of mint chocolate chip. It's not bad. I'm going to give it one more try here, so don't mind the crunching. Yeah, I'm going to say, if you do like sweet food and you've earned it by hiking a mountain and you want ice cream, but of course we all know it melts. This is a good alternative. And it's not bad, $4. I am looking forward to testing out different dry freeze or just options for hiking. So if anybody knows any good brands, you're more than happy to let me know. If you're watching this or listening to it on the podcast, you can also drop a comment. What are the best tasting camping trail foods that people use? Or do most hikers go out and take their own propane tank so they can do some cooking out there? When I've done it, I haven't camped that much. I'm usually just more trail running, but having freshly made coffee just out in nature, it for some reason tasted really, really good. It was all freshly ground and just made there. So I really enjoyed that. And then sometimes when you just are out in nature and you've been hiking pretty much all day, you're just hungry and maybe food tastes better. I'm not quite sure. But some of the things that I saw as far as dry freeze was scrambled eggs and sausage, which already to me, that doesn't sound good. And I'm glad you don't have to add water, but I definitely want to try the different dry freeze foods. I would assume that most of them are not going to be healthy for you. Most of them are probably just made for calorie intake when you're out hiking. But I'll provide that to you as I go along. So yeah, this one, not very, very overwhelming. It might taste more like the vanilla one. There's a hint taste of mint chocolate chip. You can taste more of the chocolate, the chocolate wafer than anything else. Besides, I don't really have a major sweet tooth, so I wouldn't buy this besides this one time that I did it just to review it because I already did the vanilla. If I were to buy between this one, the vanilla, I would buy the vanilla. And as I mentioned, if you want to buy any sort of dry freeze food, especially the ice cream, since I haven't bought like the eggs or the beef stew with potatoes or anything like that, I don't know if it's meant to break apart like this or not. This one, out of I think there was like 10 packages, pretty much they were all broken. You kind of got to feel without squeezing too hard. That way you can get one that's not broken. Other than that, if you do get it, order it online, like the lady said, they don't really know what is in the box. So a lot of times, even though they may try to handle it with care, they're tossing it from an airplane or a UPS truck or a FedEx truck. By the time it gets to your porch or the delivery driver from the big truck, it's going to be all crushed up. So it'll be not really, it's not really as helpful to take. It'll be more annoying than anything, especially if you're out in the wilderness and it's a little bit hot like here. But yeah, it's a great alternative if you want to go out on a hot day and you have a sweet tooth for ice cream, especially since you put in so many miles, you earned it. And this is the first time trying to do a review of food here on Athletic Definition. This is episode 146. As I mentioned, huge hiker, so I'm looking forward to seeing what else we could do. Maybe I could figure out how to not have so much wind and maybe actually test them outside. The last one I did, it took me about an hour and a half to reach the peak of the mountain. And when I went up there, as I mentioned, it's a great view. If you click on the video, you'll be able to see it. But I don't know if I had reception. So I'm going to have to go hiking again and see if I could find somewhere where I have reception so I can actually try to do a live show from the trails and be talking about a review. I really like the view there. I was thinking of taking up some pads, but basically anything you take there, you're going to have to hike with you. And I want to take they're about 6x4 or maybe a little bit bigger. They're mats, so I could demonstrate some workouts on top of the mountain. If I'm not able to do that and do it live, then I'll add it to my regular YouTube channel. I have a couple, so be sure to subscribe. That is the way that I'm trying to make some money. I think a lot of people think, oh, YouTube creators or something like that. Most of them are not rich. Most of them, I think I heard, make about $1,000 extra a month, which is not bad. Having $1,000 extra a month is not bad, but I would say most creators are doing it because they're passionate. And pretty much like anything else, only a certain percentage of people are going to make a lot of money, like in boxing, like in the NFL. And if you're lucky enough, like in the NFL, the league minimum or in major sports is better than the average American. So you're blessed in that way. But overall, I would say that I'm just really passionate about working out, and that this is a great way for me to share a variety of the knowledge that I've learned and then bring on guests and they can share their story, because listening to other people is one of the ways that I get inspired. So many people have great stories of adversity that they've overcome, and from there they take it to another level or something you've never even heard of. Just I consider myself in some ways that way because I don't have any sort of physical abilities or anything like that. It's just passionate about working out and been like that for years. And I told myself, oh, I want to do something where I'm giving back. And you would think, oh, well, you're not a pro athlete and you never got signed by a college. They never even sniffed you. I think of The Rock saying, "Oh, back in the day, I was so bad that I got cut from the Canadian Football League." Do you know how bad you got to suck to be cut from the Canadian Football League? Well, do you know how bad you got to be for the Canadian Football League not even to consider you? Just like in Rudy, you're 5 foot nothing. Even though I think I'm like 5'11". You're 100 and nothing, and you got zero speck of ability. But the passion and just the motivation has made me create this show so that I can share my passion. When people think of sports or working out, first of all, I think they're so interconnected, and fitness. And I think a lot of people now that are just talking about fitness don't really talk about how they did it for a sport or how the sport is what motivated them to work out. I know some people are really into just working out for the sake of being fit. Kind of, that's somewhat of a knock, and see if they get upset with me, the community. But CrossFit community, I'm not a big fan of just training to say I'm the fittest. To me, it's to get ready for some particular event so I can test my will, my fortitude, or basically see how far I can push my human limits. And that's what I encourage other people to do. You don't have to be a superstar athlete just to push your own limits. And your limit could be like walking half a block or walking a full mile or running miles or going from 3 push-ups, which I think, no, not 3 push-ups, pull-ups. I think three is like what they consider, I think, most Americans to do. So, hey, how about doing five? Little by little, by staying motivated, because for me it'd be really hard to stay motivated. So as passionate as I am about running and marathoning and endurance athlete and 57 marathons and back-to-back marathons and trying to run in all 100 states, I would be bored out of my mind if all I did was talk about running. Contrary to what the memes show, where it's like runners only talk about running, sports is what really got me into fitness. That's why I love football, NBA, baseball. Only go Dodgers. Besides that, I don't really watch baseball. But knowing that there's different ways where you can still be part of what you love, whether it's through fitness, whether it's through being a creator, talking about sports, going out and doing them, not just having your kids go out and do it. That's something that I see all the time as well. And I have so many friends that are instructors or coaches, and it's always the mom and dad pushing the kid to be active and work out and become a starter and do this, but they're not being the example. So me as a parent myself, I try to be the example by working out. And I know, especially having kids and having life, you're not always going to be able to, and through injuries. But that's why I do the variety, because sometimes you just may not feel like hearing something very technical. I listen to some podcasts where they get really heavy into, the names, the proper names for muscles and, diets and everything else. And it could be overwhelming. I always told myself, I want to do something that's more simple, that the average person could kind of understand what's going on. But Ben Greenfield is one of the podcasts that I've listened to for years. And sometimes after listening to him, I'd be like, oh, my head hurts a little bit. But as I've mentioned in other past shows, the human brain is remarkable. Sometimes you might be listening and not even understand, and then years later it'll click, or it's because you're doing some sort of workout and then what you heard and it's all accumulated, and then all of a sudden it clicks. And then when you're not feeling it, to me, listening to some motivational speaker or some athlete, and I try to bring on a lot of average people, because most of us are going to be average. Most of us are not going to be those elite athletes. A lot of women will become mothers or wives along the way, and the average person will become a dad or get married along the way. And then you have to work your 40 hours or more and then try to get in that fitness. It's not always easy, and just staying motivated, keeping that in your mind always helps. So I hope this helps out some people, and it doesn't always have to be where, oh, I'm going to be all hardcore, where, oh, like a lot of people will be like, I'm not going to eat this. Well, I probably won't eat it all just because I don't have a sweet tooth, but I also am not wasteful. So I'm going to try and eat it throughout the day. But it'll probably take me the whole day to finish this. I got lucky with that, not having a sweet tooth. I'd rather fill up more on food, get a second portion of food than going to the dessert. So with that, that makes it way easier. But I want to thank everybody for joining me for episode 146, Athletic Definition. This is an experiment doing the food review, and we'll see how the podcast listeners who only listen think if this was helpful or not, because they're not going to be watching. But if you do want to watch it, go to YouTube, Coach Ray Z, and look for the vanilla ice cream review, or you can go to Athletic Definition, Coach Ray Z, and you'll be able to see this episode, and you can catch it on YouTube or Spotify. Those are besides Fireside. You can also come to Fireside, click on the replay, and watch it here. And I will be back this Friday with more shows. So stay tuned for the announcement. Make sure to follow me on Fireside. That way you get an alert of when the next show will be. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Till next time, this is Coach Ray Z, Athletic Definition.